So hello and welcome to another interview. My name is Damion Gordon, and so technology never allowed from where I was. There was no complicitness from technology, but we've traveled all the way from Maine here to Jamaica to talk to Andrew Price, who is one of the golden threads in the tapestry of Jamaica's football, what with his effort in helping the team to qualify for the 2019 Women's FIFA World Cup. And he will be a guest here on this program here on Facebook Live. Thanks very much, Andrew, for joining us.
Yeah, finally, thanks.
Finally. All right, so there's so much to cover, but we're going to try and get through this one in about 15-20 minutes thereabout. Since the qualification of the team to the World Cup, has it really sunk in for you just yet?
Not really, you know. Each day, you know, I try and pinch myself to say, you know, did this really happen? And you know, it's slowly but surely it's getting there, because guess what? June 2019 is coming quick and fast, and we have to try and prepare ourselves.
Jamaica's going to the World Cup.
I think the invitation by the Honourable Minister Babsy Grange to celebrate 4 days with the Jamaican people, I think really brought it all together for the young ladies. They weren't aware of the type of affection and love that the Jamaican public had for them, and I think that they really found out in a no uncertain way that Jamaica people really appreciate what they did over the calendar year for 2018. And
so that tour in and of itself, what do you think has it done for the girls in terms of bringing them closer to their core fan base?
Well, I think that they found out that they're loved, and they're loved by the Jamaican people, and the Jamaican people appreciate it. And irrespective of where they came from, whether they were local players born in Jamaica or they were born overseas to Jamaican parentage, they believe now, honestly, that Jamaica people accept them for who they are and what they have accomplished.
It's interesting that you mentioned to Jamaican parentage and being born overseas. Did you sense that there was a distant feel among those who joined the program because they were born overseas, that they feel like they weren't truly reggae girls until that tour?
No, I don't think so. But a lot of the girls, despite being born overseas, frequently come to Jamaica throughout their adolescence into their senior life on a regular basis. So they, you know, they had a feeling of Jamaican culture. Their parents were always very, very, very Jamaican, and you know, they felt the whole euphoria of being Jamaican. But to actually come here and go from city to city, from township to township, they really felt the love and the expression of heartfelt appreciation by the Jamaican public. And I think it just brought it over the edge that, look, no matter where you're from, once you want to compete for your country and do it with distinction, you'll be accepted, and they really feel like accepted.
Let me pick on one word that you used there, euphoria. Of course, that would have worn off a little bit now since the qualification, and just before the tournament, of course, it will go back up. But for now, preparation phase is what we're in.
Definitely.
Many coaches will tell you that there is no perfect preparation phase. And what is that one thing that you think will handicap the team now, or what is that one handicap now going forward? I
think the one handicap that we'll definitely have is that we have the enough resources to put into the preparation, because the preparation has to be as ideal as you can make it. And I think it's going to be very important that the Jamaica Football Federation, the government and corporate Jamaica all come together to put all hands on deck so that we can have a proper preparation. We have been joining a very tough group with Australia, Brazil and Italy, and what we want to do is try and play like teams that play a similar system or who have a similar philosophy in our preparation. We are very much charted to look at the windows that exist, and we have about 4 windows, FIFA windows, where we can actually get the players, because a lot of them, as you know, are contracted to clubs across the world. So we only get the opportunity to get these players together during these FIFA windows. So what we have to do is ensure that we use the FIFA windows effectively.
So you spoke of the fact that you want to play like opponents as you prepare for that, but what is the one thing that you're going to require from the JFF in terms of camps? Would you want to set up those camps in Europe, or here in Jamaica?
Well, basically, I'm not telling anything out of tales. We have sent in a proposal to the Jamaica Football Federation where we're going to have at least 5 camps prior to the World Cup. The final one of those camps will be held in England, where we'll set up a base for about 3 weeks before we actually go over to France. And that is where we want to complete our preparation for the World Cup in 2019. 2 of the camps are going to be held in Jamaica. And one of the reasons that they're going to be held in Jamaica is because we want the Jamaican public to be acquainted, familiarly acquainted with the girls. So we're going to host 2 games in Jamaica in February, both in Kingston and in Montego Bay. The opponent has not been determined yet, but like I said, we're looking at similar teams, South American and teams from Europe.
Of course, improving the team will happen in 2 phases. Preparation, that being training, and of course recruitment, if there are players out there who can come in. Have you had any contact from players, and have the coaching staff reached out to players who want to come in?
Several. I mean, let us be frank. We are going to the World Cup in 2019 and we want to send the best 23 ladies. And the players are all aware that we are going to send the best 23 ladies. So we have to look at options where we can improve the team. Yes, we have made contact with individuals and individuals have made contact with us. And I believe at our very first camp in January, we'll look at an assessment of looking at the players that have applied and want to be a part of the squad to go to the World Cup. So definitely we look at some new individuals.
As it relates to the tour that is happening or just happened around the island, of course you want to bring the team closer to its core audience. But some will argue that players who are here in Jamaica, they don't have a platform on which to advertise themselves to be selected because there's no women's league per se.
Well, there is a women's league, as a matter of fact. About 3 of the young ladies who were in the squad that were played in the CONCACAF Final Championships came from the National Premier League that was recently relaunched. So I believe that players always have the opportunity.
What about the quality though? And that's where I'm getting at. The quality of the league or the lack thereof puts them at a distinct disadvantage.
Yes, but it's a disadvantage that they have to accept. And what has to happen is that we have to continue to improve our national league. I don't think that the break that we did any justice to the players, but we have to deal with the situation as it presents itself. What we try and do now is try and look at the best that we can get from the current league and see if we can incorporate them in the current squad. It's going to take time. A lot of the players that are currently in the squad actually got scholarships or got contracts overseas and continue to improve and develop themselves. So, you know, we have to look at that phase as a movement where we can get the players locally to go overseas where they can play against top quality opposition so that they can improve their talent.
I remember when the team just qualified, there were people who took you to task in making the statement that you believe that the team needs improvement and you're going to have to bring players in. As a coaching staff now, when you sit down, is it a difficult decision to make as to bring players in, given the fact that maybe those said players might not have wanted to be a part of the struggle to get to the World Cup?
Yeah, you know, we have to be frank in looking at improving the team. There are players who are unsure about the team proceeding, knowing the fact that the team has achieved what a lot of people, even in the media, said that wouldn't have been accomplished, and it has been accomplished. Players are now interested. What we want are players who are committed to the cause, and once you prove that you're committed to the cause, whether in the early stage, whether in the late stage, whether now, if you prove that you're committed and want to help the cause, we're willing to give those players an opportunity. And the players that participated are aware of it and are willing to fight for their games.
What is the one characteristic that a player must bring, or quality, that will see them being selected ahead of somebody who's already in the squad or who participated in the qualification phase? Is that they must be demonstrably much better?
Of course. That would be the only thing that would allow a player who wasn't in the current squad to get into the squad. They have to have superior talent. And if they prove that they have superior talent, but it can't be just that, they have to have the right camaraderie, they have to have the right discipline, and they have to show that they want to play for this country, and they are committed to deal with the situations that exist.
Because one of the things that people on social media have spoken about quite often is that the coaching staff might bring in players who they're not, you know, there's not a great disparity in terms of quality between what they bring in and who already is in the squad. I.e., you know, they bring in players from overseas just for overseas sake. Do you believe that if the players play overseas, that they're automatically better or more coachable than those in Jamaica?
What you have to accept is that you have about 150 years of coaching experience in this current technical staff, and they are acutely aware of talent and how talent is situated. And I believe that irrespective of where you are, whether you're local, whether you're overseas, you could live in Siberia, you could live in the Antarctica. Once you have the requisite talent and you're committed to play for Jamaica, we're always going to give a player an opportunity.
Talking about opportunity, and there are, you know, people within the JFF who have spoken to many times, and they think that this team has a potential to get to the quarterfinal stage. But let's just look at the group: Australia, Brazil, Italy. Even when I stretch the boundaries of hope and optimism, to be honest, I can't see us getting past the group phase. You as a coach might share a different view.
Most definitely. I wouldn't be here if I didn't share that view. And the fact of the matter is that the CONCACAF region is possibly the top region in the world in women's football, because within the CONCACAF region, the #1 team is the United States, the #5 team is Canada, Mexico is also a top 20 team, Costa Rica is a top 25 team, and these are the teams that we had to compete against to qualify for the World Cup.
And so we looked well out of place against them, which is a concern.
Whether or not we may have looked out of place against them, the fact that they're #1 and #5. When we played the Canadian team in the first game, I think we matched up very well against them, and if it were not for two silly mistakes, we probably could have gotten something out of that game. I believe against the United States, the conditions were a bit different for us, and I believe that the United States is a superior team in the world at this point in time. As a matter of fact, I hasten to say that the current United States team is the best team that they have ever assembled in their history. Wow. So they are a big team, and the fact of the matter, we have learned from playing them, and we are going to take all that learnings and put them to use when we compete in the World Cup in 2019.
Now that you've seen the opponent, because one of the great advantages of going to war is knowing what you're up against. Australia, Italy, and Brazil. How much scouting will you be doing on those opponents in between now and then, or how much have you started doing already?
Once the draw was made, we started our scouting. We have an analyst by the name of Sanford Corbin who does a lot of our scouting for us. So we have started that scouting in earnest. As a matter of fact, to prepare for the CONCACAF Championship, when we played Canada, one of the games that we examined in preparing for the Canadian team was Canada versus Brazil, a game which Canada won by 2-1. So it is something that we have already developed, and we are getting a lot of information, a lot of YouTube, a lot of match players where we are looking at all the teams that we are going to face.
There is one aspect of our game that I think needed improvement, or needs improvement, when I watched us in the qualification phase, and that's the speed of play. Transitioning from defense into attack seems to be a problem.
I think more importantly is our retention of the football. I think it's very important that we retain the football for as long as possible. What I think that we can improve on, and we must improve on, is our retention of the ball. We turn over the ball too often, and against quality teams they can hurt you very quickly if you turn over the ball too often. So what we're going to work in our camps is about ball retention. Yes, speed of play is very important, but you have to have the ball to create any kind of damage that you want to do. So ball retention is something that we're going to focus on and try and maintain, that we control and keep the ball for as long as possible, and when we lose it, we get it back as quick as possible.
Is there, So in saying that, then you think that the coaching staff need to look at specific players to bring in, because I think that we're lacking in midfield in terms of that player to keep control of the ball.
We believe any areas where we are deficient, we are going to look to see where we can improve, and that is and it doesn't matter. It could be goalkeeper, it could be defense, it could be midfield, it could be centre forward. Whatever areas we can improve, we are going to look at the requisite individuals who can help the team do much better than it's currently doing.
Australia, Brazil, Italy, where are you seeing 3 points in all of that? Because at least one of those games you must try and win. Who do you think
we have to be realistic. I believe that if you get 5 points, you can possibly come out of the group. As you know, the 2 top teams in all the groups go through, plus the 4 third-place teams. So I believe that 5 points. We have to look. Definitely for the first game against Brazil, we don't want to lose that game. You know, we definitely want to see if we can, at least collect a point. From there now, it's for us to press. We'll see that. I believe that Italy is most likely the team that we should be able to get all 3 points from. But, you never know. It depends on how we go into the tournament, what kind of mindset we have, how are we going to face our opponents. And I believe that we are not going there. And I'm telling you, Jamaica, we are not going there for decoration. We are going there to compete, and our first goal is to get out of the group, and we are going to do whatever it is possible to get out of that group.
It's all good and well that you can say that, and because you look at the group and there's a feeling that we're going there to participate instead of probing the possibilities.
But why would you say there's a feeling to go there to participate?
No, because the reality that confronts us, Australia is the top ranked. Brazil, we don't think we are able to beat them. I doubt. Italy is the best we can get. What is it that you're telling Jamaicans now that gives them that hope, outside of us being patriotic?
Our participation in the CONCACAF Championship. We played against top 5 teams and we were competitive against them. Against the United States, though we lost 6-0. First half, they scored 5 goals. In the second half, we definitely kept them a clean sheet until we gave up a penalty very late.
They were unambitious. They were unambitious in the second half.
That is your opinion. I don't believe they were unambitious. But I believe that we made the necessary adjustments where they didn't score in the second half. Against the Canadian team, we were very competitive. I believe had we not given up those 2 chances, we could have gotten something out of the game. So that has given us a lot of belief. We went to the CSC games. We beat Colombia, who is a top 20 team in the CSC games. We were very competitive against Venezuela, very competitive against Costa Rica, who qualified for the last World Cup, who we eliminated in the CONCACAF Championship to qualify for the World Cup. So we believe that we can mix it up with all the top teams there, and we are giving ourselves a shot to go there and perform well.
You spoke about having camps, and is one of those camps in the UK going to be Nottingham?
Possibly Nottingham or London. Right, we haven't fully decided where we're going to be at yet.
Okay. All right. So here there is a very good program in almost every club in France. Lyon is maybe the top team in Europe from a female standpoint. Have you discussed with the JFF the possibility of being there and playing against some of those club teams? No,
we want to play international teams. We are going to England to prepare. We'll be in surroundings that we'll get support from the diaspora of the UK, and we believe that that is necessary in our preparation to go across to France. We are definitely going to play an international against a European team in the UK, and we believe that is the requisite preparation that we'll require.
So is there any plan to get to France at some point before the tournament?
Definitely.
I'm not talking 2-3 days before, but at least 3 weeks, 2 weeks in advance?
No. Our camp prior to the tournament will be held in the UK. From there, we'll go over to France, possibly a week before the tournament. Playing club teams at this time won't assist us. What we need to do is play against internationals and play internationals where teams who are participating in the actual World Cup. Those are the teams who are looking to play.
Question, from the team perspective, do you think the goalkeeping aspect is one area that is definitely in need of improvement?
Not at all. I think we have 4 of the best goalkeepers in the region at this point in time. One of them, Sidney Schneider, was nominated for the CONCACAF Goalkeeper of the Year. And Nicole McLaren, who saved the 2 penalties against Panama. She's world rated. She has just come back into the squad, and I believe that we have a very good competition for the person who's going to be #1 for the World Cup. And I believe we have quality. There's also Chrisanne Chambers, the local goalkeeper who attends the University of the West Indies. She's another good goalkeeper, performed very well at the CSC games. I believe we have a cadre of good goalkeepers, and I believe that once they continue to improve and develop, we'll have a good goaltending choice to make.
As it relates to the players who are playing in the local leagues, other than the half-rated league that they're playing in, what is the possibility that you will see them? Is there scouting going on, going out to watch?
Well, as you know,
players?
right now the league is
on a break.
Yeah, on a break, and it won't start back. So definitely we'll have to look at the complement that participated in the last league, because there's no other way to look at these players. And the fact of the matter is that we have some young players that we're looking at. We carried a couple of them to Nottingham, where we played the Nottingham Forest ladies, and we won that game 3-0. We're looking at some of those players, some of those young players. So, you know, there'll be opportunities, and like I said, we are looking to carry the best 23 ladies to France.
What would you say about the idea or the statement that the local players are not going to get a fair shake because the league is not going on now for you to see them? Do you have another way of trying to see them leading up to these camps?
We have to be realistic. There's no way that we can actually see. It has to be players that we have seen before. There's a particular program in place where they continue to develop, and we look at those players. A lot of them are actually gone away to college. Some of them took up scholarships right after the league ended, and are participating with teams in the college circuit. We are looking at those players, and they'll be given an ample opportunity.
What about local camps? Nothing?
Well, even for local camps, we are looking at so many players from overseas right now. It will be very difficult for a lot of players who were not involved prior to our qualification to come in at this point in time.
As it relates to the JFF, what's the budget that you've asked for?
That's between ourselves and the Jamaica Football Federation. And it would be prudent of me to discuss that right now. I'd prefer for the Jamaica Football Federation to discuss that.
Do you get the feeling that you're getting this relevant support to get
well,
all that you want?
One of the things that is public knowledge is that the FIFA has provided for each qualifying team $450,000 US for preparation. That we believe is not adequate enough for the preparations that we have, but at least it's a start, and we need assistance from the JFF, from Corporate Jamaica, and from the government, so that we can fine-tune our preparation. And we have attached a budget to it, and we have submitted it to the Jamaica Football Federation.
What's that budget?
Like I said, that is something that the Jamaica Football Federation...
That shouldn't be top secret.
It's not about top secret, but I believe that it's something that the JFF should reveal, and not me as a technical person.
Question, how far off then, based on what you've seen so far, do you think you'll fall in that budget? Because what we see is that a lot of teams, when we're ready to go away, we hear that, oh, we weren't able to meet the budget. And so the preparation phase gets affected.
Well, I believe that the Jamaica Football Federation will let you know that.
All right, Andrew, I thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you parading.
And I'm going to make you a believer. You are one of the doubters. I'm going to make a believer.
I hope that this is one of the times when, you know, I look stupid in the end, because I hope.
Well, we did it already, you know, we're qualified.
Well, I never doubted as to whether they would, because I remember I spoke to you prior to, remember I did an interview right before the assembly start, the players started to assemble, and you said to me, we have a squad that could really challenge for a place, and I said, okay, fine. And here it is. It has culminated in World Cup qualification. We wish you all the very best, Andrew.
Thanks.
All right. All right, so there you have it from Andrew Price. Congratulations to him, thanking him very much, because he and the other members of the coaching staff did a terrific job in getting us to qualify for the World Cup in 2019. We hope that they don't just go there to participate, but to really probe all the possibilities. Congratulations to him and the members of the Jamaica Football Federation. Support the Reggae Girls all the way into 2019.
Jamaica's going to the World Cup.